Welcome back to First Attack on UltraChenTV. I'm Ultra David. This is James Chen.
How's everybody going?
And we are still analyzing Gandhi versus FSP from DreamHack last year. The reason we're looking at this is because it's a just textbook example of somebody who doesn't know how to deal with a random, unorthodox, scrub style, whatever you want to call it, different categories there. And FSP is the one who doesn't know what to do.
Right.
Gandhi is the guy who's been doing whatever he wants.
Right.
FSP has in this past game seemingly figured it out in his gameplay at least.
Right.
He wasn't doing optimal stuff. He was not getting the best punishes. He was still not always putting himself in a good location. But at least in terms of the wake up game, he let Gandhi do wake up Dragon Punch like at least three or four times in that game, which shows an understanding of what's going on. But then, as you mentioned, to look at him physically on the stream, the camera,
He double face palmed in the between.
literally double face palmed. Yeah, exactly. So you can tell that even though on screen it looks like he's starting to figure it out, it's wearing on him.
Yeah. If he was sitting there going, okay, I got this, then it would have been a different story.
Yeah.
Then I expect he would have won the third game. But he was still flustered.
Yeah.
So. And, it's really interesting because, we talked about how the player's a little random, right? I mean, that's the hardest part. It's like at some point in time, you gain a bunch of logic to playing fighting games.
Right.
And that actually hurts you against the random people.
It's true.
But in the weird side is that the better you get, you stop being logical and you start kind of generating a little bit of purposefully randomness.
Well, at some point, I mean, there is that, but you also, as we said towards the start, figure out your different tools. And the fact that you don't always need to play the same way. In fact, that's harmful for you to always play the same way.
Yeah, and I do want to address something someone mentioned in the chat. I said in one of the, earlier that Rufus's crouch medium punch is not a great anti-air. Yes, it has a lot of priority. It beats a lot of stuff. But the thing about it is its range of practicality is very limited from a left and right standpoint. You already see, again, I told you, he's standing at the wrong distances. When Ryu jumps, his crouch medium punch is not going to work as an anti-air, right, at that range. So what I mean by it's not a great anti-air is if you jump at Rufus and he's always in position to crouch medium punch at you, it's not necessarily that the move is a great anti-air. It just means that you're jumping at a bad place. You know what I mean? You should be able to control Rufus enough that when you jump, you don't get bodied by that move all the time. So, okay.
In any case, FSP is not putting himself in that situation.
Yep.
So let's go back to the third game now. 1-1.
All right.
Gandhi took the first one. FSP just took the second.
Here we go. So what have we learned? And he starts off with the Galactic Tornado again.
Which is the anti-fireball idea. Now, I think one of the rounds actually Gandhi did start out with fireball in the past game, but that hasn't been the go-to, and it's been very difficult to get a bead on what Gandhi's doing at the start of the round.
Yeah, and the payoff is minimal.
Right, you get a little bit of damage, you get a knockdown, which is worth beans right now against Gandhi.
Yeah, exactly. Knockdown. See, yeah. So that's a good point, right? Knockdown is what Rufus wants to go for.
Usually.
In this situation, knockdown is not what you want to go for. Or, if you do get the knockdown, stop going for the dive kick. Because it's so easy in this game to jump at someone and that cross-up range where the uppercut whiffs if they do a reversal. And he hasn't done that. He hasn't done any jump medium kicks. He's only done jump dive kicks. And that's a problem right there. So, in any case, boom, right there. He has it in his head that for some reason the best strategy is to wait for him to jump forward and dive kick him.
Yeah.
He just did it again.
Right, yeah, he's done it many times, yeah.
So here we go. Okay. Just
Sweep,
block,
again, misses the punish.
And again, see, he's standing at that range so that whenever he does jump over the fireball, he's able to predict him, but he's just at that range where all he can get is that jump fierce.
Yeah.
And that's it. And so he needs to get closer to him. And again, jump dive kick to stop it. And there was 2 dive kicks. And even though he was mashing uppercut and got a fireball, it's still traded, right? So again, walks backwards, bad distancing here. Oh.
Could have just had the down strong.
Okay. It's minor punish
Wow,
there.
no punish on the lack of dash afterward.
And you see that Gandhi's just jumping back and forth. Just jumping back and forth. And again, he goes for the link. Like...
no, there's no need.
Yeah. Let me go back a little bit again, because... Just look at what he's doing. Gandhi's just jumping back and forth. You've realized he recognized that he's jumping back and forth, but he's never tried to take advantage of the jump.
Yeah.
right? He's never tried to low strong him, jump roundhouse EX, or just plain EX snake strike, right? He's never done anything to stop the jump
Right.
yet.
Have been no anti-airs. And then after this, look at the situation that Gandhi's in. Look at the spacing. Okay, if he had walked forward there, he could have, again, had the down strong.
Right. Okay. Oh, see? Tried
Presses.
to do something to him.
No need
When
to.
he got up again.
You got the life lead.
Yeah, and then he just tries to jump backwards, fireball, jump forward.
You know what? I mean, what he's trying to do is jump roundhouse, I think, on reaction, but there's just no need to do that.
Okay. Low fierce
Down strong,
punches.
please.
Yeah. And then this is where they trade with the hurricane. Yeah, right here. And then this is just the unfortunate situation here where you hear F-Word talk about this after the match is over. They actually replay this part.
Yeah.
Like you said, when someone whiff jumps, both people try to throw.
That's the convention.
Right. And you see that here. He tries to throw and instead...
Was that
hit by
down
low
short
jab.
or down
Low
jab? Okay.
He just gets hit by low jab into uppercut. I mean, it's just really unfortunate.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and you can see FSP's reaction.
Yeah, he's yelling at somebody. I don't know who he's yelling at this
Probably
point.
the crowd that's talking to him.
Because the commentators are behind him. You
Yeah.
can see them sitting back there.
Exactly,
right?
yeah,
So,
yeah.
But again, you see the hands go up to the head or whatever. He's just frustrated.
Well, he's at his opponent's match point.
Right. So again, he backs off into the wrong distance.
No punish.
Right.
Man.
And again, jumping backwards over the fireball, ending up having to dive kicking it. I mean,
He's just out of it.
Let's reiterate something again. You know, at some point in time, you just have to assess what's going on. There's no assessment, really, outside of him understanding that he likes to mash uppercuts when he gets close.
Right.
He hasn't understood yet that the biggest problem is that he hasn't taken advantage of the predictable fireballs and the predictable jumps yet. He's not looking at the jumps. He's not paying attention to the jumps. That's why every jump that Gandhi does feels like it's a surprise jump. You know what I mean? So he needs to just be looking for that. That should be the only thing he's looking for at this point.
Yeah, that's a major point.
Yeah. See, again, could have totally low-stronged him again. And when he got into the distance where he could have low-stronged him again, check this out. Like, he gets into the distance where he could have low-stronged him again. Right here, that was perfect, and he dashes forward into the fireball. Like, for some reason, he's done everything to avoid that maximum distance.
Yeah, I hear you.
In some weird way. Again, neutral jumping at that maximum distance. Okay, knocks him down, wakes up, got that. Okay, good punish. Okay,
there it
good
is.
Bait.
Oh no!
Ooh, small punish.
But why? And again, but why?
Yeah, he went for that into roundhouse.
It looked like he probably wanted to stand short,
Yeah, I think he just missed
ultra.
the stand short there. And then hits him there because he was probably trying to jump away or something.
Yeah, or like
that.
input EX Messiah or something.
Right,
but
right.
Nope. Ooh, the grab. This is destruction.
This is a key, like, super key moment.
Oh my god. That was so big. Because throughout the whole time, that was not a concern. FSP was standing next to Gandhi on Gandhi's wake up, and oh well, if it's Dragon Punch, okay, I get to punish. If not, oh well, you're not gonna grab me. Like there's no risk in standing there. Now all of that has been kind of thrown into some craziness. You don't know at this point if you are FSP what is gonna happen. I mean, even less than you did before.
Yeah, I mean, did he all of a sudden just wait? I have throws, and that will mess you up. And you heard it too. Even the commentators, they're like, he hasn't thrown yet.
Yeah.
There's no reason to do anything when he wakes up. There's no reason to be scared of throws. And then he gets the throw in there. I mean, like, there was...
Man, that throw.
Back in the days of, like, long time ago when throws were, you know, he threw, you cheat, you know, kind of things. I remember one time I was playing against a person who turtled all the time. He was using Elena. I think this was, it's either Vanilla 3 or Second Impact. I can't remember which one it was. But the guy was just turtling with Elena in the corner. He wasn't doing anything, right? So I was like, whatever. Like, so we were fighting, and he was beating me up pretty badly. And I was like, all right, you know what? You're just turtling, whatever. So I walked up and threw him once. Whole game fell apart. Like, the whole game fell apart because he got mad that I threw him because now I was playing dirty.
Oh yeah, of course.
That his whole intention was to throw me. Like, oh, you throw me? No, I'll throw you. I'll show you how cheap throws are. And then every time I got anywhere near him, he was so scared of throws that he stopped turtling. And dude, little things can just destroy entire bits of gameplay. And
It's true.
That throw right there. I mean, when that happens, that's just. I don't even want to know what FSP's thinking at this point in time.
Well,
so.
he's down on life. He could lose.
Okay, he's got the
He
wake up.
just got it.
Oh, nice.
He just got the meter.
Yes.
Yeah, he's not a bad player. I mean, he's looking for stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. So he's gotten the damage.
Oh,
here.
what do you got? Oh, he just
Okay.
waited. Could have gotten the kill on the punish
Right.
for the sweep, but didn't do it.
All right. Now
Oh, here
here's-
comes the anti-air. That's
yeah.
right.
Now here's something key. This is the only time he anti-airs.
First anti-air in the whole set.
And he wins off of this because it's the first time he's looking for it. Boom, boom.
There it is.
And that should have just been such a huge tell to him. But see, he's still frustrated. Like, he should have just, something in his head should have just been like, okay, anti-air him, anti-air him, anti-air him. Instead, he eats a jump in just to start off. And so now he's already down 1/3 of his life. So now the nerves are kicking in again,
Oh, yeah.
right? So the nerves are just not cool. And now he's just randomly hurt. Okay, get your punish. Good stuff.
What does he go for? Oh, back off. All right.
Okay, that's fine.
But no big loss. Yeah.
Again, goes for the link. Stop going for the link. And again, standing at that really bad distance.
Oh, cripes.
Oh, and then low fierce. And then the accidental frame trap. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, as crazy as that down fierce was, that's actually a way to deal with the opponent waiting to see that you jumped and landed and doing the dive kick that has been FSP's anti-air this whole
Right,
time. So, I mean, as unintentional as that was on Gandhi's part, that's a good response.
Right. And then again, see, even in that situation again, you notice that FSP's go-to reaction is the jump.
Yeah.
Right? So here he's jumping again. And when you're fighting an unpredictable opponent, staying grounded usually is one of the most important things. You've heard this a million times about Street Fighter in particular, that jumping is one of the worst things you can do. Right? Holy crap. Okay, anyways.
Cat fight.
Let's keep going. So, boom. All right, so another wake up EX Messiah. All right, that's fine.
That was supposed to be DP. Crouching strong.
And now he has no life. Okay.
Oh, the grab, he wanted it.
Right. And, okay.
No reason. There was just no... This whole set... We didn't count how many times there was a wake-up Dragon Punch, but it was most of the time.
Right.
And that had to have been something that you figure out. It was something that you might have been able to figure out in the first round, in the first game. And seemingly he figured it out at the end of the second game, if you recall.
Mm-hmm.
But he just forgot it.
Yeah, and a panic there, and minor fist pump there from Gandhi.
Yeah, Gandhi,
And
good job, Gandhi.
Dude,
Did what he needed to
F
do.
word is... I mean, you can hear him. He's like, I'm trying not to laugh. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a tough loss. It's a tough loss. I definitely understand that it's a tough loss. But there were all these opportunities for FSP to have learned what he needed to learn. And like we said, towards the end of the second game, it seemed like he was picking out part of it. Not all of it, but at least the wake-up Dragon Punch part of it he was picking up on.
Yeah. But the other part that he really, really needed to pick up on was the jumping. He was not taking advantage of the jumping. Now, Rufus is not a character who can punish jumping tremendously, but jump roundhouse into EX Snake Strike, I mean...
That's a good one. Just EX Snake Strike is fine.
Right.
Or just crouching strong over time would have been fine.
Yeah,
because you know that it's not going to convince Gandhi to not jump. It's not going to convince Gandhi to be, okay, my offense isn't working out, it's time to depend on my defense and mid-range game. That's not happening. He's just going to keep doing the jump. So whatever the damage is over time should be fine.
Right. And plus another thing, to be honest with you, is just that if somehow, by miracle, it does convince Gandhi to stop jumping, that's only going to benefit your game. Because that's what's throwing you for the loop. If you get him to the point where he stops jumping, now all of a sudden you can kind of play a little bit more of your game. Because there's a lot of times he tries to jump over, and Gandhi just randomly jabs him out of the air, jump strongs him out of the air, and stuff like that. Because he can't get a bead on Gandhi's jump pattern. You know what I mean? So you got to discourage him from that. And so stop playing every part of your game except your anti-air game. Because that's the part that's confusing you. So don't play the footsie game so he can jump at you. Just sit there, block a few fireballs. It's fine. And if he jumps, low strong him, EX Snake Strike, and that changes the whole momentum of it. So
that spacing game is gigantic. Staying safe on Gandhi's wake up, but just in general, is gigantic. I think another big thing is understanding your opponent's lack of understanding of the conventions. The grab on landing is just a giant tell, or the lack of it, I should say, for Gandhi. That he doesn't know. I mean, even in addition to all the other things, that he doesn't know what optimal things are, what people normally do. Even if you don't know what's optimal, I've seen people who certainly don't know what's optimal do the land into tech. Everybody does it.
Right.
And it's not just that. Every game has its conventions. Situations have conventions that you expect and you go for. I mean, another convention is, okay, Rufus gets a knockdown, time for dive kick pressure. Right? Like, everybody knows that. If I'm playing against Rufus, even if I have a DP character, I'm not going to do random Dragon Punch all the time, because I know over time it's not going to make sense. Not that big a deal to take some dive kicks. So the convention is, I'll just deal with it for a little bit. Rufus knows that. Okay, I'll do some dive kicks for a bit.
Right.
But all that stuff has to go out the window as soon as you understand that your opponent doesn't know that stuff.
Right.
So that can't be the kind of thing that you always go to. It needs to be one of those things in the different tool sets, right? If your opponent understands the conventions, great, let's do that. But if the opponent doesn't understand the conventions, you have to just get away from them.
Right. And I think you brought this up super early on. I mean, this is a perfect example. There's no one correct way necessarily to play the game, right? So a lot of times people will come at you and be like, oh, I really want to learn this character. How do you play this character, right? And our response usually is, well, learn what's good pokes, learn this stuff, learn how to use the tool set and such. This is a great example of why learning your tool set is very important.
Yeah.
Because you'll run into the situation where it might not necessarily be the player's better than you. It's just that they're playing so unorthodox that you find out you need a move that does something that you've never needed before. And if you know your character well enough, you'll be able to figure out what that move is pretty fast, So in a lot of these situations, it's very apparent to me that FSP probably has not used EX Galactic Tornado a lot. So he's not thinking about low forward EX Galactic Tornado at those certain ranges and such, Probably doesn't have that kind of experience with low forward EX Galactic Tornado, right?
Could be.
So maybe he just doesn't have a lot of experience with Crouching Strong. He didn't try it once. Maybe he doesn't know Crouching Strong is a really good anti-air,
Well, I feel like in watching FSP that he knows what the normal things are.
Right.
I don't feel like that's the problem for him. I feel like he probably knows about down strong, probably knows about crouching medium kick spin. It's that he can't get out of that normals mindset.
Yeah.
That's what the thing is. He didn't identify that he couldn't be in that mindset at all. That was, I think, what killed him.
Yeah. And it's just good to learn how to play your character in different ways.
Yeah.
And how to just kill those certain parts of your gameplay.
You have to understand what your opponent thinks is the normal. Okay, so it's not the case that Gandhi is really random. That was bizarre.
Yeah,
it's not the case that he's really random. He's not some number generating machine. He has these tendencies that we were talking about. Jump back into jump toward, whatever, wake up dragon punch, that kind of thing. Understand what your opponent takes to be the normal play, the like base level play that they start off with. Different people have different ideas about what that is. That's just how everybody's a little bit different. Once you get a feel for what the normal is, then you can start to tailor your play around that. Yeah. So if the opponent's normal stuff is jump back, jump toward, stand at that range that we've been talking about this whole time, because you understand that that's what the opponent is going to do. It's not really the case that he's random. It's that he has a different conception of what the base level of play is.
Right. Again, the worst kind of, quote, random, which is he's playing logically, not in the way that you expect everyone to.
Right, to different rules.
Right.
To different rules.
Yeah. So, yeah. I don't know. Do you want to take another quick break or?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right. We'll be right back, guys. Oops. Hold on.
Has the hardest CPU to play against, right? In fighting games.
Yes.
Here's the trick. If you pick Vega, the claw, and you do down strong at your maximum range, the opponent will just walk into your next down strong. And you can just do down strong, down strong, down strong until they're dizzy. And then down strong again. And you can beat every character like that.
Really?
Seriously.
I did not know that.
If you're playing third strike, pick Q. And as soon as the opponent gets into the corner, do your command grab, do the dash punch and then the reset, and then do a command grab as they land. The CPU cannot get out of it. It is you win, okay? I've got Master Street Fighter on that thing a lot. They're just, so, look, the point is, you have to recognize basic little patterns like that. A major goal in Street Fighter is, in fighting games in general, is the strategy of it and understanding all these things. But some players boil it down.
Yeah.
Whether they are very, very good or very, very bad. I've seen it on both sides. Playing against Justin Wong, sometimes you can feel like it's totally boiled down to just the ground game, and you're gonna lose at it. Have you experienced this feeling?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
But on the other hand, some players boil it down to just the most rote. Like sometimes I'm gonna do wake up DP, sometimes not, and that can feel like the game. But that doesn't actually make it harder, even though it seems like it can. All you have to do is recognize what the opponent thinks is the normal, what the opponent's pattern is, and exploit it. Every pattern has that exploitable bit.
Yeah, I mean, when you're playing against a player that's not doing what you consider logical, I mean, you might even want to consider it's like you're playing against a level 4 computer. Because I've had that same kind of frustration when playing against a computer sometimes. You're just like, do this! And they won't do it. And you stick out a low 4 and then they just uppercut it because the computer AI is programmed poorly.
So here's an example. If you're Dalsum in ST playing against Zangief, you can't press limbs because Geef will always counter poke you.
Yes.
If you press stand roundhouse, Geef will just do his own roundhouse and he'll win. So don't press that stuff. Okay? Even though as Sim playing against Geef, you feel like, well, I should be zoning out, so I'm gonna do some yoga fires and then I'm gonna do some far limbs. But if that's not working, you can figure it out quickly.
Yeah.
And you have to figure it out, and you have to do something different.
Yeah, so in a weird way, learning to scrub bust somebody, play them like a computer. You know what I mean? Honestly, play them like a computer, because the computer's not going to do what's logical. And in fact, that's what happens a lot of times when you lose to the computer, because you're trying to play them like a human, and you can't. Right? So just start recognizing the patterns.
That's it.
And, sometimes when you fight a computer, like you said, with your Vega example, right? You will low strong them for the whole round until they die. Because that's just the optimal thing to do. Yeah, you're thinking, you know what? No, I need to do max damage every single time. Dude, if you low strong a guy jumping at you 70 times and you win, you win.
Right, yeah. We mentioned that with the down strong example, Rufus against Ryu. It's not a lot of damage at a time, but that's not really even that important. What's important is that you're shutting down one of the major things that the opponent thinks is what he should be doing. His pattern is, I'm going to jump. I jump back, jump. Okay? That's it. And if your anti-air does 5 damage, you should be winning that because you know what to look for.
Right. Oftentimes, like, whenever a character, between version gets, nerfed or buffed just by changing their damage. Like, let's just say the character's mostly the same, but their damage get nerfed. Usually, whenever I think of a player who's really good at that character, I just say, well, it's just going to take longer for them to kill you. But they're going to kill you in the end, right? As long as you're doing what's right, you're going to win.
Right.
So, yeah.
So, if you had any advice for people in trying to pick up this ability to play against unorthodox players and random players and scrubs, what would it be? I mean, is there a training regimen that people can go through, or is it just an experience thing?
I mean, I think here's a tricky part, right? You can have a lot of experience and keep losing to these people, and you won't be able to figure out what's going on. I've seen this happen to a lot of people. It's happened to me before, until you totally just change your mindset, right? And really, that's probably the main thing that I can talk about when it comes to learning how to beat scrubs. I mean, I'll give credit to Mike Ross and Gutex, because they were the ones who told Rennick that one time. Rennick used to do those videos Growing the Beast, I think it was, and I was watching one of those videos, and he was complaining about how he was losing to players. I think it was Third Strike Online that he was losing to these players, and Mike Ross and Gutex looked at him and said, "You've just forgotten how to beat scrubs." And like it happens to everybody, right? So, and everyone's gonna run into it, and it's hard to remember how to do it. And really, what it comes down to is tunnel visioning yourself. Weirdly enough, it's not about expanding your game now. It's about limiting your game and just focusing on what works. Because the thing about top players is when something works, they'll probably stop doing it or switch it up or whatever like that. So you got to keep this whole like crazy game in you. But when you play against a, I don't want to call them all scrubs, but when you play against a player who isn't necessarily playing as logical, then you got to remove all the fluff and concentrate on just the fundamentals. Fundamentals are knowing when to throw, knowing how to anti-air, and just knowing how to keep them out of your zone. Those are the three things. Maximizing distance. Maximizing distance is probably the number one thing in order to beat scrubs. And it's probably why watching that video I was so uncomfortable when he was standing in the wrong distance.
You don't mean literally being at max distance. You mean be at the best spot.
Yeah. The max profit distance.
Okay, yeah.
You know, and so if you're a Ryu player, if you're anybody with an uppercut, and you're trying to be a scrub, the number one thing you do is you stand at their jump distance. You stand at the best distance possible for them to jump and wait for them to jump. And then you see them jump and you walk closer. Because that's the thing. Like, if you stand just outside of range, like a good uppercut range, and they jump, you can take a step and uppercut. But you just always got to be looking for that. You always got to be, being prepared to uppercut them, right? So there's two different kinds of scrubs. There's the ones that are just wildly offensive, and then there's the ones that are wildly turtleish, right? So those are the ones that you can throw a lot. Or
that makes sense.
Whiff punish a lot, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't know. What would you recommend?
It's really just about being in that situation, I think. Luckily, we can all play online. And maybe you have enough BPs or whatever it is that you're not playing against scrubs anymore, but that's pretty easily remedied by making a new account. So if you want to practice, everybody can do it.
Wait. If you make a new account on, say, Xbox Live, can you play on that other account, or do they need gold as well?
I have like 3 accounts.
Really?
Yeah.
And you only have 1 gold, and you can play all of them, huh?
I think so.
Huh. Okay. Interesting.
Now that you say that, I feel like there might have been some shenanigans that I engaged in, but I don't really recall if that's the case. In any case, you can do that. Everybody has the ability to play against players that are lower level, and that's going to be important because if you can do what FSP seems like he might have done, which is to play mid and high level players and to only understand how to play against that. But in a tournament situation, you have to make it through round number 1. You have to make it through round number 2. Everybody has to do that in order to move on. And for some people, including for me in the past, those can be tough rounds if you're not used to it. Okay?
Yeah. And not panicking. Like, we saw how frustrated FSP got. And like I said, not panicking is one of the most important things. And that's... we saw Justin Wong make like a comeback this last weekend. The weekend before that, we saw him make a crazy comeback, right? So, I kept joking, never count out Justin Wong, but that's exactly why, because he doesn't panic. And in fact, the best players are the ones that panic the least.
Sure.
There's probably a very 1-to-1 curve of top players and how often they panic.
Sure,
you know what I mean? Like, well, actually, I guess it would be the reverse curve, right? So, like, almost a direct...
Oh, as panic goes down, top player goes up. Yeah.
So, in those situations where you run into a player like that, stop panicking, stop second-guessing yourself, roll yourself back in the fundamentals.
Again, that is something that I think you need experience for. I think F-Word is the one who said it on this video, that even in addition to the gameplay part of stuff, being able to calm your own nerves, being able to play in a tournament setting, all that stuff is its own thing too.
Yeah.
And to be as FSP, this is like worst case scenario for FSP, okay? Not only are you on stage, but you're on stream.
It was the first match that was streamed.
It was the first match.
Yeah,
It's not an easy situation to play in if you haven't been there before.
Yeah,
and I'm sure that figured into what happened.
Yeah, and a lot of people have asked me, how do you get used to playing on stream? How do you get used to playing in tournaments? And sadly, the only answer to that is to keep doing it. I mean, there's just no other way. Yeah, there's just no other way. So
yeah, yep. You can think about, like, okay, I have a few different characters that I play. All right, let's say my characters are Hakan, Zangief, Dalsim, and Dan.
Right.
If I'm gonna play a scrub, I'm not gonna play Hakan because there's too much execution involved. I'm gonna that's gonna get screwed up. I'm gonna do what FSP did and miss my links. Okay. I'm not gonna play Sim because Sim is very strong at one particular range, but I can get blown up by making one wrong mistake.
Right.
It's gonna be Zangief or Dan because those characters, even if Dan isn't that great, he has all the scrub busting tools that you need. He's got a DP, he has fast mid-range options, he has little cross-ups that I can stay away from reversals with.
Pressure chips.
He has pressure. Geef has Lariat and SPD.
Dude, yeah, I was just about to say, Zangief is actually, might be one of the better, like, scrub killers.
I think so.
Because he's got a one-button Lariat, anti-air.
Right.
And if they start blocking, you just SPD them all day.
Yeah, exactly. I think Geef is a great choice. So, if you have multiple characters, you can think about that kind of thing. If you're playing Marvel, maybe you play like a Wolverine team rather than a Felicia team or whatever it is, for example.
Right, yeah. Yeah. Which didn't work out very well at the last run back.
Oh, you'll get there.
Yeah. No, I mean, honestly, a good character... The better your anti-airs, the better you are going to be at killing scrubs, which kind of relates back to that video that a lot of times scrubs jump a lot, right? So if you have a good uppercut, right. I bet you if FSP was playing like Ken, he probably would have done better than he did with Rufus, because then he just would have said, I have an anti-air, so I'm going to focus on uppercutting you a lot. And it just would have changed his mindset a lot.
Yep. Sounds right to me.
Yep.
So unfortunate for FSP that all this attention gets placed on him for this reason. I hope that he doesn't get mad that we did this, even though he said it was okay. But still, it's maybe it's embarrassing. But
I mean, I know, what was it? You said on NeoGaf, he started, lightening up a little bit.
It seemed to.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
and I hope that's the case, and I hope that this is something that he bounces back from. It's just it's unfortunate for him that his learning experience was in the limelight. I'm thankful that there weren't streams back when I was doing this, because there would have been some embarrassing footage out there.
I mean, I have seen, I mean, countless Evos, I ran pools, right?
Yeah.
I have seen matches where people have literally just had their souls crushed and, you'll never see them again, right?
I hope that's not the case here.
Yeah, but there are some instances, I still remember one of the top California, I should say, Marvel 2 players, Chunksta, right? I still remember running an MVC2 pool where he was playing against Justin Wong, and there was one match that he pretty much won that match until Justin Wong was Justin Wong, and he just made the stupidest comeback I'd ever seen. And after that match was done, I remember Chunkster just sitting there like he was not moving. He was there for a very long time, and I remember watching that, and I was like, this could be the end of this guy's career. Like, that's what I was thinking in my head. I was like, he might have just been crushed to the point where he may never recover.
Right.
But you know what? This was before he was really super good at Marvel 2. And then afterwards, he became super good at that game. So I was always happy to see he recovered from that and became a top player. So, there you go.
Anybody can do it.
Can do it.
Everybody goes through the phase where...
Lamer boy, yeah. He had his match against us.
A couple of times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody goes through that phase. Nobody starts out being a top player. Everybody has to first deal with... the scrub level, the random level, then the crazy level, then it's a progression.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, if you're good enough and if you have enough stick-to-itiveness, you'll get to the top level, but it's a journey everybody has to go through.
I think it was the very first season we did that episode. We were talking about the different skill levels and how every time you want to go between one to the next level, it always takes a wall. You always run into a wall. It's like growth is always... Bam, you hit the wall, you stayed like this for a while until you figure something out, and then it gets better.
Right.
So, yeah. There you go.
I definitely agree with that. So good luck to FSP in the future. Good luck to Gandhi too if he wants to keep playing.
Yeah, no, I hope he keeps.
I hope he does.
Yeah, it'd be awesome to see him at more tournaments and
For
stuff
sure.
like that. Because the thing about it is, if you get out there again, you start playing, you start going back on stream. If you win a stream match and stuff like that, dude, that says a lot about him, and that'll do a lot for his own confidence, and it'll make him a stronger player. So, yeah.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Is that it for the show, I guess?
I guess so. Yeah. I mean, we're technically like half an hour earlier than we normally do on Mondays, right? I mean, do you want to just take a break, come back, answer random questions, or do you want to
Why
just
not?
do you want to just call it a night?
No, let's do another 15 or 20 of that.
Okay, sure, no problem.
So send us questions if you're interested on Twitter at UltraChenTV, and we'll get to some.
All right. Be right back.